Hello everyone, and welcome back to Flamez Plays, and today I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. Horror games require a few things to leave a mark with us. Good sound design, crisp visuals, fluid controls, and enemies who make you lay awake in bed until 4 in the morning because every time you close your eyes you see them. Today we're going over my top 10 creepiest enemies in video games, and while they may not all look creepy, there's a reason they're on this list. If you think I've missed something, feel free to leave a comment down below, and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos of mine. I won't make it weird. Siren Blood Curse has an interesting mechanic, allowing you to sight jack into the monsters chasing you to see what they see. Just hope they don't look into a mirror, because then you'll see their horrific designs. The Shibito are reanimated and properly twisted corpses of the former town residents, with names such as Brain Shibito, Spider Shibito, Maggot Shibito. The designers really laid down some hefty promises, and dear God did they excel at matching them. Elongated limbs? Check. Transformation into a walking bug? Check. Replacing someone's head with a giant wasp? Abso-freaking-lutely check. This is the kind of game that will make David Cronenberg proud.
You're in terrible danger.
A distress signal from your girlfriend Nicole is the least of your worries once you step inside the USG Ishimaru. The crew's been attacked, and almost everyone has been killed and reanimated as the Necromorphs. Bones are elongated, flesh is melded to metal, and not even a direct shot to the skull will stop these horrors. The entire game you are plagued by these beasts, even after leaving the infected ship and heading back to the planetary colony. Once you're there, you face the hive mind, before finally you leave the ship and everything behind you. Until the inevitable sequel. Sure, Miles just walks into an asylum trying to get a huge story, but getting out's gonna be the hard part. Scares are around every corner, behind every door in this amazing game. Chris Walker, though, is ex-military police who previously worked as a prison security guard. His background shows that his strong body, but childlike mind, attribute to his commitment to massive asylum, as he ripped apart 3 inmates, and the investigation turned up even more mutilated bodies. His time at Mount Massive left him with cloudy white eyes, the skin from his forehead peeled off, and he personally cut his nose and lips off himself due to all the anxiety brought upon by the morphogenic engine. His chains are a slight indication that he's around, but even then he can move impossibly quick.
Little pig.
Now I know, BioShock isn't a horror game in the traditional sense, but these drugged up, wound up, messed up partygoers are some real nightmare fuel. Flesh is rotting from their faces and open sores. It's a comfort knowing that many of them still wear their masks from the New Year's Eve party. Years of animal abuse have left them husks of themselves, vying for the former days where they were beautiful and vibrant, instead of fighting for scraps in a reverse aquarium. Their abuse is so strong that they even hallucinate that everything's okay, often talking to people who aren't there, or lashing out at occurrences that never even happened.
No!
Also, that dentist from the first BioShock, total dick.
Going nowhere.
It was hard to narrow down a particular creature from the Resident Evil series to feature, and you'll see why later on. But while Jack has some indestructibility in that whole Michael Myers walk down pat, Mama's got a whole other fear factor. The reveal of her final form is done so calmly that it's really easy to miss, and if you look down that pit after your confrontation, you'll see she suddenly has long spindly arms and can crawl around like a spider. Couple that with her control over insects, and you got yourself a foe that'll make you want to squirm in your seat.
Don't you worry none.
I included these both in the same spot because you really don't see much of the brute during gameplay, but they're both equally terrifying. These are both known as gatherers in Amnesia, and they're Alexander's servants, patrolling the corridors of the castle and hunting you down upon sight. Backstory seems to say that these monsters were former soldiers who deserted their post and got lost in the woods surrounding the castle. Alexander took these soldiers in, but fed them his poisoned wine, which is described to have caused the drinker to rupture from within. The grunt's mouth has been sliced open, almost completely down to the collarbone, showing a black hole of throat and limp hanging tongue, and his hands are now claws designed to rip open your flesh. The brute, on the other hand, is more metal than human, having its body reinforced with metal plating, along with a long metal blade attached to its hand, and its skull split open like a lettuce head. These are not the kind of guys you want to see when you open a door. The cordyceps infection acts in 4 stages, starting with runners, who are still humanish but almost blind and incredibly hostile. Once the infection has taken a hold for a week, there's a good chance the host will become a stalker. Stronger than a runner and with better audio awareness, they're able to hunt Joel and Ellie down. It's lucky that this enemy type is rarely encountered. A year after infection, the host is almost completely taken over by the fungal infection and becomes a clicker. They roam the world using echolocation to navigate and find prey, and once found they enter an enraged state, screaming and rampaging at whoever is in its way. Still, beneath that massive fungus on its head is a human, and a chunk of the infection can be shot off, revealing the face below. That is until the infection spreads back over the host. Their final form only appears after decades of infection, where the fungus has grown so rampant on the body it's almost like armor. This resistance, along with its sheer strength, leads to some intense fights, as getting close to it is an instant death.
See if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
I was a kid when I first played Resident Evil on my friend's PlayStation 1, but this reveal led me into my fandom of all things horror. This pre-rendered scene from the original game looks pretty terrible in comparison to more recent games, but with the almost yearly re-releases of Resident Evil, the scene has been redone to bring it up in its gruesome glory. The Resident Evil series has had its share of memorable characters, from Iron Maidens to Regenerators to the Big Daddy himself, Nemesis. But nothing beats the classic when it comes down to laying down what Resident Evil is really all about.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
I've said it many times before in previous videos, but Half-Life is my favorite series of all time. And Ravenholm really nails that down as an amazing level and showcases Valve could do a horror game correctly. They eventually released Left 4 Dead to great acclaim, but the head crabs of the Half-Life series take the cake. They don't just peck at you with their beak. Yeah, there's a little beak in that maw thingy, or headbutt you with powerful jumps. They actually latch onto your head and use that beak to break into the victim's skull. Once in there, they start to take over the host motor functions, allowing the headcrab to walk and attack using the host body as an extension of its own. That wouldn't be too bad if the host was dead, like in the case of the Necromorphs previously, but a little Easter egg in Half-Life shows that the host is still alive, screaming for death as it's stuck in a body it can't control.
God, help
Our introduction in Silent Hill 2 to Pyramid Head is as he's having his way with a mannequin creature, showcasing that he is above all the strongest thing in Silent Hill and can get away with almost anything. James is here looking for answers following his wife's death from cancer, and encounters this beast while roaming the town of Silent Hill. After finding a woman named Maria who bears a strong resemblance to his late wife Mary, aside from some less shy mannerisms, we witness Maria being killed multiple times by Pyramid Head over the course of the game, leaving us more answers until we have the realization that Pyramid Head is a representation of James's guilt, as he smothered his wife rather than allowing her to die from her illness. With this story, it seems almost impossible to work him back into the game due to his ties with James, but they found a way in several games, as well as 2 movies, as he is the face of Silent Hill. During Silent Hill 2, he is indestructible, requiring James to flee from his despair rather than face it. Eventually, we run into 2 manifestations of Pyramid Head, and the only way to end the remorse is to have them kill each other on their gravestones. Well, that's it. My 10 creepiest enemies who've really left their mark on me. Their images are burned in my eyelids every time I blink. As stated before, if you think I missed something, or you want to share your scariest enemy, make sure to leave a comment down below. Subscribe so you join the bonfire and get updates from the latest new content. And of course, as always, have a great day. Remember to burn bright. Bye.